Oh boy, he was ready to recruit Tien and Yamcha.
All I see
get
are a shitload
Yamcha.
of clones.
Well, I like Tien. Yamcha is very Yamcha in this game. He's good at one thing and one thing only. And
Yamcha's good at something? I mean, besides baseball?
dying.
He is a ground rushdown character. That's it.
Okay, so you guys were talking between parts, and you said basically gameplay-wise Goku is Ryu. Pretty much.
Yeah.
What's Krillin good at, if he's good at anything?
I really have not played much of Krillin outside of story mode to get any beat, and I really haven't played anyone who actually is using Krillin either.
Yeah, I have not seen Krillin much online at all.
Aw,
so I
but
can't
he's my
comment on
bro.
that
I
he throws out his assist is he throws out senzu beans for
Speaking
his
of
assist move.
Krillin, I haven't watched Super. Is there a reason he's bald right now?
He just shaved it because he felt like it.
because he's more marketable
Yeah.
that way.
Basically, he just wanted to feel like a fighter again, so he shaved his head.
Yeah, the hair gets in the way.
Apparently, that was literally his excuse for it. It's like, it just reminds me of all time, so I'm shaving my head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's more marketable that way.
Yeah. Oh no, you just saw Krillin with the attachable headpiece.
DLC hairstyles for Krillin.
Yeah. Fuck, so worth the $30 season pass.
You say that, but there's probably a toy of Krillin out there somewhere that does have an attachable headpiece.
If there are going to be other alternate costumes for FighterZ eventually, I do demand that Krillin have his white suit and hat during the
I think
Garlic
you can
Jr.
already-
filler arc.
You can already get alternate costumes in the game. I've heard people talking about like they got like the suit, the t-shirt and cap for Piccolo when he was driving, but I haven't actually seen that.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Oh
it either.
yeah, driver's license Goku.
No, because
Yeah.
I've seen them as lobby avatars, but not in gameplay.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm
It's
confused.
so weird not to be able to fly. Like, you sort of dash through the air, but like every Arc System Works fighting game lets you do that, so...
the closest you get is the Dragon Rush. Basically, you press R2 and you make a mad dash to your opponent, whether they're on the ground or in the air.
The thing about the super dashing in this game as well, which I find interesting, is that super dashing is where it's the homing dash. You fly across the screen, you run into them, you get a hit. It's completely safe on block, which for people who don't know much about fighting games means that you can do that and you cannot be punished for it. You can be hit out of it, but if your opponent blocks it, they cannot punish you for doing it. So you can just spam that all day essentially as an attack tool, and unless they knock you out of it on the way in,
I was going
it's
to
fine.
say, that's... I mean, is there a way to counter it?
There is, because it's considered an airborne move, so if you do a down heavy, which is a launcher, that's invincible to airborne moves, but you have to anticipate it. You can't do it as a result of it. So you have to you have to see them doing it and have the reactions of about half a second to be able to like time it perfectly to be able to knock them out of it.
Right, just half a second. We got
Yeah,
this, guys.
exactly. Yeah. That's an eternity in fighting game terms.
Yeah.
For higher players, anyway.
Do you have any idea how much frame data can be crammed into that short space of time?
Exactly. That's 30 whole frames.
You just wasted a sensu bean. Those take like 5 years to grow, man.
Well, Krillin just has basically an infinite supply of them.
I forget that they ever establish how long it takes to grow beans.
However long the plot demands.
Okay, I know that's like the real answer, but
Yeah, pretty much. It's like power levels in Super. It's like they're just people just as strong as they need to be.
So I know that for the purposes of story mode, you gain more HP as you level up. Do people have different amounts of HP in like standard battles or whatnot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, as a typical rule in fighting games, characters who deal more damage have less health to try and balance that out.
Oh, okay.
So like big slow characters like 16 will have more health than other characters.
Okay.
yeah, I believe Majin Buu is also more of a tank than anyone else. He's actually my favorite big character in this game so far is Fat Buu.
I haven't touched or seen Fat Buu in this game. I completely forgot they existed for a while.
Yeah, Fat Buu is pretty cool. The only thing I like, some of his mid-tier combos have a bit of a wind-up to them because one of them is like an overarching headbutt. It has a lot of wind up, but if you manage to finish the combo off, he like ends it by slamming the opponent into the ground and just fucking wailing on them afterwards. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty exhilarating.
Oh yeah, there's some great animations in this game regarding like supers and whatnot that I really love.
I think I find one of the more interesting things about fighters is that depending on the combo that you utilize, if you follow through with it, and this is more about the auto combos we were talking about earlier, like Goku for example, if you use the triangle auto combo and finish up with it, he automatically does a Super Kamehameha at the end of it.
Yeah.
Which is not free for the record, it still costs a bar. But it's like you don't even need to put the input in. He just automatically does it for you. And I'm trying to think if there's any other fighting game in existence that actually does a super move for you at the end of an auto combo.
I think Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite does, but I messed around.
Oh, you see, I still to this day have not played Infinite.
A lot of people are all like, "Oh, Dragon Ball FighterZ killed Marvel vs. Capcom," and I'm like, "Okay."
I mean, it kind of did.
It actually kind of did. It actually kind of did because Infinite was really struggling even before this came out, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the last nail in the coffin.
Okay,
for Infinite.
maybe this is just me not knowing fighting games, but like people, I know that there is a lot of crossover between people who like Marvel and people who like Dragon Ball, but there's still probably plenty of people who don't care about Dragon Ball and would rather play with Marvel characters, though, is the thing. Because the game is that mediocre.
I actually
But
would
the problem
rather
with
play
Infinite-
with Marvel and the only thing that kind of bugs me about Infinite is, well, it actually somehow managed to have an art style that I dislike more than this.
Oh, well, no, the
That's the
game
thing,
looks
yeah.
pretty... Like, visually, the game looks kind of... and I looked up... The music makes me really sad. Like, all the Marvel music's really generic. They got rid of most of the classic, like, Spider-Man or Captain America themes or whatnot, and the remixes are all really bad dubstep type. Ugh. That soundtrack makes me really sad.
Yeah,
basically.
there's
The thing about Infinite is it has two really big problems. The first one is, as you mentioned, it's got like a really terrible art style to it, and characters' faces just look jacked up. I mean, I use Dante on my team in Infinite, and I will actually use Dante from the DMC reboot just because his face doesn't look messed up.
Yeah, I remember
That's how
seeing
bad it
something about
is.
that on Twitter, how Dante somehow managed to look better.
Yeah, he does. And so yeah, it's that and the roster. The fact that there's no mutants. That's the thing that really pisses people off.
Oh, but you know what? Knowing Capcom, it was all a ruse. They wanted to make it seem like people like Dante more than Dante, so they made Dante look really stupid in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, so that their online census metric data tells them that people are playing as Dante more. Don't fall for it, people. It's a conspiracy.
Oh, and what a coincidence! Now that Disney Fox buyout has gone through, wow, there's an X-Men download pack now with Wolverine, Phoenix, Cyclops, Beast.
You don't.
That is the big.
What a
that's the big rumor.
coincidence!
That's-
Wow.
Even before the buyout was going to happen, the rumor was from people who had an uncle that worked at Capcom was saying that season 2 would just be like old mutants and Fox characters and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The thing is, though, is that I honestly think it's going to pull a Street Fighter Cross Tekken and just disappear. I don't even think there'll be a season 2. Honestly, at this stage, I'd be really surprised if there was. Because it's in the first 6 months. Okay, to put it in perspective, in the first 6 months when everyone announced their financial earnings the other week, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite only sold 1 million copies, which is not very good. In the first week of launch of Dragon Ball FighterZ, it sold 2 million.
Yeah, and the anticipation for this, I think, was just greater than Marvel's Capcom.
I mean, it was partially due to the E3 going up to Marvel's launch, where, okay, we saw that Marvel not only didn't look very good visibly, it also looked a lot more of the same, in a sense, on a gameplay perspective.
Yeah, because...
Whereas this is the first, true fighting game Dragon Ball we've gotten since the PS2 days.
Well, what kind of game is Xenoverse exactly? Because I know that was
Xenoverse
relatively
is
top.
a fighter RPG hybrid thing. It's not. It's kind of like, okay, if you take the basic gameplay style of the Budokai Tenkaichi games and slap a character creator and RPG mechanics over top of it, and make it a sort of a hub-based, semi-online multiplayer side-questing game, that's basically it.
Huh, okay.
Yeah. You can play it online competitively, but the online is like the netcode is just fuck atrocious.
Well, there's that
and
too.
It's incredibly broken as well.
There's also not much in the way of balance to the game because the game is designed around a mix and match mechanic where the character you create can learn moves from various Dragon Ball Z characters. Well, various characters from all of the Dragon Balls, I should say. So the moves kind of all fit some basic kind of template. So there's not.
But they also, like it is like very unbalanced and broken, as you said, because the few times that I did go online in Xenoverse and play it online, one of my favorite strategies was to just get the fuck beaten out of me by whoever I was fighting and use Captain Giga's body change at the last second. And it worked.
What the fuck?
It totally worked. You gained their health and they gained yours, and you just hit them one time they died.
Yeah, it's something that can happen. The point is, it's a good game. Xenoverse is great. It's great fun, but it's not very good as a competitive game. I mean, you can play it competitively, but it's that sort of thing where you only play it competitively if you like the game enough to want to play it competitively.
Yeah. You can play Rock'em Sock'em Robots competitively. The question is, should you?
No, the thing is, because of the way the game is balanced, the people who play it competitively are going to be a different kind of player than the people who play like Street Fighter or King of Fighters competitively, And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something that you should know going into the game. It's not a super serious competitive fighter. It's at its core very casual and fun.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like Xenoverse is a great game. I love both of them, but yeah, it's just not. It's not on the same level as something like this.
Yeah. No, on the same level is the wrong way to say it. It's more like it's not the same. It's almost like a different subgenre. I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, fair comment.
So yeah, that's more or less the reason why FighterZ just completely, in terms of sales and anticipation, kind of curb stomped Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
That is a good point.
Infinite had a lot. Infinite had a lot going against it.
Yeah, that you do make a good point though, because Marvel vs. Capcom 3 still had a relatively active community when they announced.
The buzz for 3 was way stronger than Infinite because we haven't had a Marvel vs. Capcom game before 3 in I think over a decade.
Yeah.
Because it was said for years that the license was expired, they would never do it again.
And then Marvel got bought by Disney, and
not to say the wait wasn't entirely painful because we got Tatsunoko versus Capcom in between. I thought that was a good game.
The other thing as well, though, is that depending on who you listen to, the budget for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was less than one season of DLC for Street Fighter V.
Yeah, I can believe it. The game looks and feels, frankly, like it was designed by not even the B team, but the D team, like a bunch of new hires that they just got on that.
No, you see, it was developed by the X team, which in fact is the X-Men, and that's why they're not in the game.
It almost seems like the base art design was designed during a training session where they were trying to see where they should rank the new hires in their company.
It was done by BioWare Montreal, who did Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, don't start me on. Okay, BioWare Montreal.
You pushed the Mass Effect.
BioWare Montreal does not deserve the full blame of that. There was a whole lot of shit going on in that development cycle, and a lot of it was EA. I'm just gonna put that out there. A lot of it was mismanagement, which is par for the course with EA when it comes to their goddamn RPGs.
Or God, when it comes to EA.
Or basically everything these days.
I love Mass Effect. It's my favorite single-player series, so don't get me wrong there.
Yeah, it's when I say EA with their RPGs in particular because Electronic Arts seems to have a massive corporate-wide mental block when it comes to the logistics of creating a full-sized and full-featured RPG. They keep trying to cram it down and rush it out. And the only reason Mass Effect 2 came out good is because the developers during that development cycle found a really good way to make a whole lot of content without much in terms of assets or unique design. And they just sort of hit a good balance with that one. So it turned out really good, even though at its core it's really repetitive and uses a lot of recycled assets. But Eh.
I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just, I hear a lot of people talking about Mass Effect Andromeda like they know what they're talking about, and they don't. It kind of bugs me.
Bitches think they know what they're talking about.
It's like, well, it's almost as if they completely forgot that EA has a track record of screwing over these kind of games that stretches back as far as the Ultimate series. So, well, in any case.
So how about fighting games?
How about these goddamn cutscenes? I keep looking at these things and it's like, oh god, they're trying to imitate the animation style of really early Dragon Ball in 3D. It just doesn't work.
Not to mention, this is going into how repetitive the story mode can be. Because count how many times we have gone back to Bulma's ship to talk to a character we just recruited.
And then go right back out.
Okay, speaking of Mass Effect. Speaking of Mass Effect. But no.
Waves and rocks!
Do you think that was intentional on their part?
Probably not.
Maybe.
Art direction.
Oh,
It's
look, it's
Waifu
everybody's new
21.
waifu. And also Android 21.
Oh,
I knew my love for Cell.
Okay, so Android 18 is
Be
playable in
recognized
this
as some
game,
fashion.
right?
Yes, she is.
yeah. she
Okay,
is.
that's all I need to know. I'm getting it.
Yeah, but Lewis, you already have Dragon Ball Final Bout.
No, it's Ultimate Battle 22 plus 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
Something like that,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
Excuse
because
me.
18's not in Final Bout. We have to make space for like 7 Gokus.
Sorry, I
Can
mixed
someone
up my
clear this up
bad
too?
Dragon Ball games. My bad.
Can someone clear this up for me from a lore perspective? With Cell, I've never actually found this out. Is he actually Super Saiyan or not? Because he has Saiyan cells in him. Because he has the aura, but he doesn't have the eye color, and that's always confused me.
It was something like, I think that the aura comes from like after he blew himself up, where his Saiyan cells kicked in and near fatal injury gave him a massive power boost.
One detail I have noticed is that after he blew himself up, he got the Super Saiyan 2 aura, which was signified by the yellow aura and the lightning crackles.
Right.
Yeah.
That's about it, though. I think it's just the yellow aura because he just has yellow aura. Because Frieza has purple aura, and what the hell does that mean? What does purple mean?
But like, he's not full Saiyan, so or not even hybrid full Saiyan, so he doesn't. I don't think he gets the full boost. I think it's just something close that looks like it. Okay, so our first shot of Android 21 is that camera angle. Yeah, they picked that angle on purpose. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, we get a couple
That
of
is
like
that is
we get a couple of tit and ass shots.
that is textbook anime cheesecake at its absolute finest.
I love
And I
cheesecake.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
I like cheesecake too. You can't eat it too often though. It's really fatty.
I'm glad we were talking about the same
Honestly, overrated. I think cheesecake is not as good as normal cake. Come at me, bro.
I agree. I agree, Ted.
I think you just haven't had a good cheesecake.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll
John,
agree
like
with
I
that.
haven't had a good deep dish pizza. All right, John. Okay.
No, I don't think we have.
Well, cheesecake when it's good from a good bakery is actually a really different experience than the type you'd buy at a supermarket or something.
It's got to be cold.
It does. It really does. It's almost like ice cream cake in that sense.
Krillin, why weren't you this confident the last time Cell was attacking Android 18, huh?
They weren't husband and wife yet.
That's right.
Yeah, I think they
He was,
just
he was
shared Tinder
stalking her from
profiles.
afar.
So, what's their stupid explanation for Cell and Frieza and all those people being back from the dead?
They were wished back from the Dragon Balls.
Wait,
Yeah, for literally no reason, just Android 21 just brings them back to the
Yeah.
present.
Just so she can absorb them and feed on their power or something.
Okay, so that's it. It's so dumb that I would actually take a second rehash of the Dragon Ball Xenoverse time travel story over this, but they always have to have Frieza and Cell there, and they always have to be explained by the story for some reason. They can't just be fighters on the roster. Why? I don't know.
You
But
see, because
they're
that's
there.
actually something I think the SNK games do, where they have, Goose, Duck Howard. They just have him be in the. They have him be in the roster, even though he's been dead for like six.
escape, long
Yeah,
quack.
you know.
He's been dead for like 6 games, and they just bring him back because people like playing as him, and that's
The other
fine.
thing about
I
the
will stay in
the
my
other
hands
the other
with
thing
your
about the
bride.
SNK fighting games though is that they really don't give a shit about story. like okay, Tekken kind of takes itself seriously on some level, where it's trying to have an ongoing plot from game to game, whereas King of Fighters.
You say that as we fight a bear.
King of Fighters is it lacks any real attempts to have a story mode. It's really hyper focused on just having really good fighting mechanics. So in that sense, that series is a really good one to go to if the fighting mechanics are the focus of why you go for fighting games. But
Yeah, but at the
Meanwhile, we can't have a Capcom versus SNK game, but here's a screenshot from Tekken 7 of Goose fighting Akuma.
you see the thing.
I like how we're just calling him Goose now.
Well, that's you see the thing about SNK fighters is, as somebody who doesn't know fighting games, those games scare me really bad. Like, I look at the move lists for those games, and I'm like literally terrified.
you're right to be scared. The skill floor and skill ceiling are quite a bit higher than they normally are.
I'd still recommend King of Fighters though.
Yeah. King of Fighters 13 is
And
fucking beautiful. I'm kind of hit and miss on 14. Like they moved completely to 3D models for that one, and it's like
Yeah. And it does have auto combos as well.
it looks good for a 2D fighter with 3D models, but at the same time it looks like demonstrably worse than their best sprite work in the previous games. So.
And that's after it had a graphical upgrade as well, because initially when it released it looked terrible, and then they actually patched it later to look slightly less than terrible.
Yeah, but it's got a really massive roster though. It puts Street Fighter V to shame. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, and the soundtrack on the game is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like I will usually stream Street Fighter V or something a few times a week, and I will always just mute the soundtrack and play something else because Street Fighter V is fuck awful in terms of soundtrack, and I will play King of Fighters 13 or Marvel or Tekken or anything over that.
So did it seriously take that long for the camera to pan up and show us her face? Was her face really that big of a mystery?
It's a mystery.
Come on.
Even though Android 21 slapped over all of the marketing for this game.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
Not really.
Look, we have more than 18. We have more than one girl in the roster. Are you happy? Are you not entertained?
They could have added Chi-Chi, you know,
They
if they
could have
wanted
had
another
Videl.
girl.
Videl as
Videl was
well.
a thing. I really wanted Videl.
Need I
like
say-
playing as Videl in Dragon Ball games. Come on.
Need I say? Oh, I can't believe we haven't even talked about best Dragon Ball fighting girl when launching the game.
Hey, Launch would be a fantastic character to have. Honestly.
Canonically, I think the first Super Saiyan.
Oh, she's backwards though, because her hair goes blue when she gets stronger instead of blonde.
No. Her hair turns yellow when she's the angry
I get the
bitch.
joke. I get the joke.
So
but
That's part of the reason why I fully expect either Cauliflower or Kale from Super to be one of the DLC fighters.
oh no,
I'm actually-
yeah, because that was a question I was gonna ask you
Yeah.
guys. Like the beginning of the next part is like, what do we think the DLC characters are gonna be?
Canonically,
well,
the thing is,
And why are four of them gonna be Goku?
Canonically,
So,
canonically,
Well, the
like,
thing is, like-
Launch though, the last time she appeared in a Dragon Ball thing was like censored from the Western releases, where she was in a bar drinking herself into a stupor when Tien died. I think it was during the Saiyan saga. So that's the last
Yeah.
we've seen of Launch. So
Regarding the DLC, from the data miners, that no one is talking about Cauliflower Arcale yet. There's nothing on that front.
if that seriously is the last time we saw Launch though, I just want her to reappear sometime in Super and just not know that Tien is still alive and has died 3 times since the last time she saw him die.
well, no, I think she appears quote unquote non-canonly during the gathering of the Spirit Bomb to defeat Kid Buu, but that's it.
Huh.
Shit, that's not funny.
Well, I wanted to make a reappearance, and I want that to be the punchline. Damn it! Just like
I just
all
want
of
to suffer more.
all of the Dragon Ball Z characters are assholes. They didn't even keep in touch and let her know that the girl the guy she's crushing on was alive. You know?